Now, Bobby Tarantino 2 by Logic just dropped, and yes, you're reading the title correctly. After almost an entire year of Joyner Lucas coming for Logic's neck, the thing I never thought in a million years would happen actually happened. Logic has officially responded to Joyner Lucas. Now, the track Logic responds to Joyner on is titled Yuck, and let me just say that Logic is on his I don't give a damn mentality on this track. So let's check out the actual bars Logic had for Joyner, and let me tell you this. Once you hear me read out these lyrics out loud, you're gonna know that this is directly aimed at Joyner Lucas, no question. So I'm gonna read everything all at once one time so you can kind of digest it, and then I'll break down every single line after that. So Logic starts off his verse with this: talking shit about Logic, I never respond. I'll let success talk, cause a word of advice, more achievements for yourself and less talk. Cats be for Logic, yeah they prayin' I respond. If I ever did, I dead you in this game with no respond. Peace, love and positivity, that's all I want with you. But you push the issue cause I give you more press than your publisher could ever get you. Hell nah, fuck rap, fuck beef, anyone that hate me, I wish you success. I wish you look in the mirror and ask yourself why you suppressed. If feelings of self-hatred that you won't project on me, bet if I never picked up the mic then we might be homies. But you jealous, you look at my life and feel envy, constantly comparing yourself to me and feel empty. Now this right here is what you call a subliminal rap diss, meaning that if you ask Logic who were you talking about on this verse, he's obviously not gonna say that it's about Joyner Lucas because that would completely ruin the point of a subliminal rap diss. But as you could hear, Logic actually took the time to set the record straight and finally respond to Joyner Lucas. But let's check out every single line on here and discuss this. So obviously, as you could hear, he started off the verse by saying, talking shit about Logic, I never respond. I'll let success talk cause a word of advice, more achievements for yourself and less talk. So talking shit about Logic, I never respond. Clearly he's talking about Joyner Lucas here. And why is that? Well, for the sole purpose that Joyner Lucas is the only person that has constantly been trying to get a response from Logic. Let's talk about a couple of things Joyner Lucas has actually done to try to get this response from Logic. Number 1, Joyner Lucas dissed Logic on his Mask Off remix. So back in May 2017, Joyner Lucas released his Mask Off remix where he said the following: and don't you compare me to Logic, go listen to Sriracha, yeah that's Amanda to Rhonda and that's a Benz to a Honda. So that was strike number 1, and we could clearly hear that Joyner Lucas had some type of issues with Logic, but it wasn't clear what it was all about. And then situation number 2, Joyner Lucas says in an interview that he thinks Logic is a corny guy. So back in August 2017, Joyner sat down for an interview with Billboard, and this is what he said. The interviewer asked him, you also dissed Logic on the track. The interviewer is talking about the Mask Off remix by Joyner. What has he done behind the scenes that you wasn't a fan of? And this is what Joyner Lucas responded with: I just think he's a corny guy. Honestly, it stemmed from him, Logic, going on the Sriracha record, and it took a long time to get it back. When Tech 9 initially gave me the record, I was excited about Logic being on there. But after that much time went by and the verse he gave was so disrespectful, I felt like he gave Tech that verse on account of me being on the record. I felt like he was upset I was on the record and gave a whack verse. I think if that was just a Tech 9 and Logic record, he would have never did that. That definitely rubbed me the wrong way. And then last but not least, situation number 3. Joyner Lucas accuses Logic of stealing the idea of using a phone number as a title for his 1-800 track.
Logic manager came through to the studio because him and my manager, I guess, know each other. So we playing shit from the album, whatever the case may be. Like, oh, what's the name of the album? 508, 50722. Why you name it that? You know what I'm saying? So we talking about it. And then I start playing my videos, you know what I'm saying? Play the Suicide joint, play, oh, this shit crazy. Boom. Next thing you know, a couple weeks go by, all of a sudden there's a Suicide record out, right? 508, the number 1-800, blah, blah, blah. Now I feel saucy as fuck.
Now at this point, I think it's clear to you exactly what Logic means when he says talking shit about Logic, I never respond. And then as I showed you before, Logic had some lines about him letting his success talk for him, and then advising Joyner Lucas to focus more on the achievements and less talk. This simply just comes from the fact that since Joyner Lucas has been calling out Logic, fans from both sides have been kind of comparing them and arguing about who's the more successful rapper. So it looks like Logic is definitely aware of those conversations and he addressed that in those lines. lines. So let's move on to the next lines where Logic says, "Cats beef with Logic, yeah they praying I respond. If I ever did, I dead you in the game with no respond. Peace, love, and positivity, that's all I want with you. But you push the issue cause I give you more press than your publicist could ever get you." And again, he's kind of addressing the same things he did in the previous lines on here, just in a different way. But right here, he does say specifically, "But you push the issue because I give you more press than your publicist could ever get you." And I'm gonna have to say that that was a super bold move from Logic. He's essentially saying that Joyner Lucas is relying on him for press because every time he talks about Logic, the media covers it very heavily. And I really want to ask you, what do you have to say about this? Now, my perspective on what Logic said right here, I'd actually be lying if I didn't admit that Joyner Lucas has been getting a lot of attention from just going at Logic. Because let's not lie to ourselves, Logic is very relevant, and especially right now, anybody who's coming at him are gonna get a lot of eyes on them. Whether that's negative or positive, it all depends on if you really consider all press good press. Does that mean that Joyner Lucas is where he's at in his career right now just because he dissed Logic? Absolutely not. Joyner Lucas is very talented. Regardless of what he does, he's gonna keep on rising because he's a good artist. Now let's move on to the last segment where Logic fires back at Joyner Lucas. So Logic says, "Hell nah, fuck rap, fuck beef. Anyone that hate me, I wish you success. I wish you look in the mirror and ask yourself why you suppressed. If feelings of self-hatred that you want project on me, bet if I never picked up the mic, then we might be homies. But you jealous, look at my life and you feel envy, constantly comparing yourself to me and feel empty." So as you can see, this part of the verse, this is where things are getting a little bit personal. Logic is basically telling Joyner Lucas that everything he's saying about him, that's all coming out of his mouth because of his own insecurities and the level of self-hatred he has for himself. And then at the beginning of this part, he's kind of killing Joyner Lucas with a little bit of kindness, telling him, "I don't care how much you hate me, I still got love for you, my brother. And I'm gonna be the bigger person here by giving you this very personal advice, so you better take it and you better run with it." And then at the end of this part right here, he talks about jealousy. Obviously here he's pointing to the fact that the reason why Joyner Lucas is constantly coming for Logic is because he's jealous of his accomplishments. And Joyner Lucas is looking at Logic and feeling a lot of envy, but in reality it's all because at the end of the day, he's empty. So as you can see, Logic actually decided to respond to Joyner Lucas finally. But what are my overall thoughts on this entire rap beef between these guys at the moment? I can't even lie, I'm very happy with the direction this is all going in, and that's only for the sole purpose of I love competition. Hip hop is all about competition, and there's not a single artist out there who doesn't want to be number one. Just like I'm trying to be the #1 hip hop music channel on this entire platform and become the best of the best, both Logic and Joyner Lucas are both heading for the crown. And I'm honestly happy that for once we have a mature battle here. Luckily, these are not two grown men who are going on Instagram holding up guns talking about how they're gonna pull up on each other because one dissed the other. Instead, we have two great artists who are going on their songs and rapping their ass off straight up. But it's actually now where the real competition starts. One thing I'm very disappointed though is in the fact that Joyner Lucas didn't just stick to the music. There was a time when he disclosed private information about how Tech9 was apparently disappointed with Logic because Logic didn't deliver on his Sriracha verse. And then Joyner Lucas went on that interview that I talked about before and decided to, instead of rapping about these things, he just talked about it instead. And I'm just thinking, instead of talking and going on interviews and calling out the guy, the best way to handle it is just to do what you're best at doing, which is rapping. And this is obviously not something I agree with, and the day Logic goes on an interview and decides to personally attack Joyner Lucas outside of the music is the day I'm gonna say the exact same thing about Logic. But if I had to decide at the moment who is really winning this rap beef, honestly I'm gonna have to say Logic, and this is only because Logic hasn't given Joyner Lucas any type of attention throughout this entire process of Joyner coming for Logic constantly. Logic basically responded on his own terms and his terms only. And if you don't already know, Logic fans have been going insane for the past year because they've been so frustrated due to the fact that their favorite rapper hasn't responded to the person who's been dissing him time after time. And I think every single Logic fan out there is gonna agree with what I just said. But now Logic finally did it. He finally responded to Joyner Lucas, but without really giving Joyner Lucas too much to work with. And the thing is, now Joyner Lucas is forced to respond because Joyner was the person who started this entire beef. And now if he doesn't respond, he's gonna look like the crazy person because he finally got the response that he wanted so bad. And do you want me to tell you exactly what's gonna happen happen now? So this is exactly what's gonna happen after this. Pay close attention. Joyner Lucas is currently in the studio working on a diss track for Logic. Joyner Lucas is gonna release the diss sometime in the future, and then you won't hear Logic respond to Joyner Lucas ever again until the day he drops another Bobby Tarantino, and by that time it'll be Bobby Tarantino number 3. So what do you personally think about Logic's response to Joyner Lucas? Do you think that it was a good response, and are you happy that he finally responded, or are you not happy that he responded? Definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion about this. But as always, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This channel is all about bringing together people like you who enjoy music and start a discussion on different topics like this. And of course, like the video if you enjoyed it, follow me on all my social media accounts. It's on the screen, and I'm out.